I'm not a big fan of social media. I know, considering what I've been doing with my days as of late, I am well aware of the obvious and glaring contradiction here. Is YouTube social media? I suppose it is. I avoid Facebook at all costs, but do have a Twitter account. Jump on and follow me, or not. I'm not too active. I sign in from time to time, but don't get overly absorbed with it. I currently have 52 followers, and I think half of them might be bots. I'm currently following about 126 people or entities. One of that small group is Elon Musk. Am I a fanboy? Maybe. I do have a ton of respect for the man and cheer on his ambitions because I think his focus is right where we need it to be. Sunday morning, I signed in to see what was up in the Twitterverse and saw this tweet from Elon Musk. At the time, I was reading this tweet around 7:30 a.m. It was already 5 hours old, so assuming Elon was tweeting from the western seaboard, it looks like he'd had a late night. I don't believe this is the first time he's tweeted as such, and I'm convinced that this is where his primary focus actually is. I think Elon's big picture ambitions are not about autonomous cars, super awesome battery packs, landing rockets, or even colonizing Mars. I think his highest ambition is to significantly contribute to navigating his species through a series of great filters. You probably already know what a great filter is. There are dozens of great videos on this topic. I'll link a few in the description below. But here's a quick, back-of-the-napkin type definition for those of you who don't know the concept. A great filter is a cataclysmic event or set of other serious circumstances that prevents an intelligent species from proliferating. Great filters are a potential answer to the Fermi paradox, or why we haven't seen evidence of other intelligent species buzzing around our universe. It's speculated that there are a series of filters a species has to navigate to thrive for a cosmological long term, and that a species successfully navigating these filters is very rare. Frankly, I think we have an abundance of evidence of other intelligent species, but that's fodder for another video. When I look at the areas that Musk has chosen to spend his time and dollars on, I don't see an ambitious capitalist. I see someone who has identified the fundamental problems facing humanity, and someone who has the tenacity to tackle them. Now, before we move forward, I'd like to say that I'm having a ton of fun putting these videos together, and want to thank everyone who has subscribed. You make it even more fun. Thanks again. Moving on. I believe Musk has identified the potential great filters facing humanity, or at least the ones that can be addressed, and is doing what he can to address them. For instance, Starlink, Musk's literally out-of-this-world internet service. As our planet warms, we are inevitably going to face more and more extreme weather events. We are already observing this today. The internet has become a fundamental and critical aspect of humanity's infrastructure, and with this infrastructure based on the surface, it's subject to serious interruption and potential destruction due to these weather events. This is critical infrastructure. In times of adversity, we're going to need to remain connected. The internet and our ability to communicate is going to be mission critical during these times. What's the best way to address this problem proactively and protect it from the inevitable? Don't build infrastructure on the surface. Put it in orbit. Starlink is promising blistering fast internet speeds to most if not all of the Northern Hemisphere, and is being rolled out shortly. If you've looked at a map lately, the Northern Hemisphere is where most of us reside. Starlink is not rolling out without controversy. Stargazers, professional and amateur alike, are not happy at all with their stargazing being interrupted and permanently compromised by this network of satellites. This impact must have been considered in the Starlink approval phase, and the powers that be obviously decided that a secure internet trumped our stargazing. This speaks volumes to just how important this infrastructure is. With his Boring Company, Musk is also creating a below-surface option for humanity should things get too hairy on the surface. Burying our infrastructure has simply been too expensive to date to do. That's why we have all these gnarly power lines blocking our views. But, in future, it may be our only option if we want much of our infrastructure to survive. As far as I can tell, no matter what happens here on Earth, the masses will have other options to stay connected and to establish critical infrastructure, either below the surface or in orbit. Now, Musk has been extremely vocal concerning his stance on artificial intelligence. You've probably heard that soundbite of him stating that creating a general AI is akin to summoning the demon. He treats the development of AI as a species-threatening technology. He believes a sufficiently advanced artificial intelligence poses an existential threat to humanity, and he's doing everything he can to mitigate this risk. Musk's key technology that he's developing to address this threat is a brain-computer interface, or BCI, through his company, Neuralink. Like he says, if you can't beat him, join him. I agree with him. We will not be able to beat a general artificial intelligence, but I don't think a BCI is the only mitigation method. I also don't believe that addressing this threat is his only motivation for developing a BCI. I think another motivation of his is that he wants to ascend to another era of humanity. It forwards his transhumanist agenda. I'm convinced that it won't be long before the sum of all machine intelligence will dwarf the sum of all human intelligence. Some think this will come as soon as 2025. I tend to agree, and we need to be ready. Now, Musk is the king of hype. He can generate buzz better than anyone on the planet. I am anxiously awaiting his update on August 28th of this year, 2020, concerning his BCI tech. I'm hoping his announcement is something better than, look, you can kind of play Tetris with these things, even though that would be kind of cool. Next, is Musk trying to figure out how to live on Mars, or how humanity will continue to thrive on Earth? I think he's attempting both. I think his ambitions for Mars addresses numerous challenges. First, if we can establish a thriving colony on Mars, then that would mean that no matter the circumstances here on Earth, we'd be able to adapt. If we can figure out a way for humanity to thrive on Mars, then continuing to thrive on Earth should be a piece of cake. When I first heard of the Mars missions, I was skeptical to say the least. I think most of us were. I just didn't see the value in inhabiting a lifeless rock. I've obviously changed my opinion since then. I am now convinced that this ambition is fundamental to our species thriving in the near term and most definitely in the long term. Many of the discoveries we're going to make just developing the tech to thrive there will no doubtedly have great value here on Earth. We can thank the moon missions for advancements in camera technology, CAT scans, landmine removal, water purification, among dozens of other great advancements. Our Mars ambitions have already been an extraordinary catalyst for new technologies. Through these ambitions, we've improved our global positioning tech, wireless technologies, and medical diagnostic tools, and we're just getting started. Musk is a big picture kind of person, and I think he's thinking as big as possible. He's identified the areas where he thinks he can make the most meaningful contributions, and has dove in head first, using his vast wealth and considerable talents for the good of all of us. Well, I think doing good is his intention, but you know what they say about good intentions. I know he's a controversial figure, but I think he is truly one of the few on the public stage who has the courage to face the truth about humanity's predicament and the tenacity to tackle these big problems. Thank you for listening. If you like my work, please hit that like button and consider subscribing. And remember, this ride is not without risk. Be careful out there, and take care.